Howdy, I'm Clint Walker and you're watching GVTV News.
Thanks, Clint, and I'm Randy Hansen. In today's World News headlines, top Pentagon official says U.S. considering sending combat troops to Iraq. And Obama mulls executive action to protect 5 million illegal aliens. And immigrant advocates sue Obama administration over record deportations. And rival Louisiana Senate candidates push lawmakers to approve Keystone XL pipeline. And McConnell to lead GOP in the Senate, and Dems tap Elizabeth Warren for new post. And workers from Capitol say Pentagon strike to demand $15 an hour for minimum wage. In California, Walmart workers stage historic sit-down strike. In Liberia lifts state of emergency for Ebola. Mali confirms second outbreak. And Israel blocks UN investigators, bans Norwegian doctor from Gaza for life. And FIFA investigators blast report clearing Qatar. Russia is corruption in World Cup bids. And probe says Secret Service officer was talking on cell phone as intruder jumped fence. And Dow and Monsanto sue Maui County for GMO ban. And Massey Energy CEO indicted for deadly explosion of Western Virginia mine. And a report says planes equipped with fake cell towers sweep up data in secret U.S. program. GVTV News is broadcast on Grass Valley Television, division of Rural Counties Television Network, whose focus is on community involvement. We also air on NCTV. But before these stories, GVTV News would like to thank one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. In today's first world news story, top military officer in the United States has said he is considering sending U.S. combat troops back to Iraq. Testifying before the House panel, Chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Martin Dempsey, said the United States could send a modest number of troops to help Iraqi forces retake Mosul and other areas seized by the Islamic State Islamic Muslim terrorists. And Dempsey said, there's some places along the path that I think will be fairly complex terrain for them, including, for example, Mosul, and eventually they will need to restore the border between Iraq and Syria. I'm not predicting at this point. I would recommend that those forces in Mosul and along the border would need to be accompanied by U.S. forces, but we're certainly considering it. Well, they might be. Dempsey comments come as President Obama has repeatedly vowed not to send combat troops back to Iraq. Obama has already asked Congress to approve a $5.6 billion plan that would involve doubling the U.S. troop presence in Iraq with additional 1,500 non-combat personnel. Dempsey spoke a day after Iraq Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi fired 26 Iraqi missile commanders for incompetence and corruption. And President Obama is reportedly considering executive action that would protect up to 5 million undocumented immigrants from deportation. According to the news reports, Obama could announce the plan as soon as next week. Key component that would prevent the deportation of parents whose children are U.S. citizens. Report comes as a majority of the House Democrats have sent a letter to Obama calling for him to take action on immigration reform. Republican House Speaker John Boehner has vowed to fight any such action tooth and nail. An immigrant advocacy group has filed a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security over President Obama's record number of deportations. National Day Labor Organizing Network says the Obama administration is violating the law by failing to respond to a rulemaking petition that the group filed earlier this year seeking relief for millions of undocumented illegal aliens. House lawmakers are expected to pass legislation to approve the Keystone XL oil pipeline. The Senate is expected to vote next week on a similar pro-Keystone bill backed by Louisiana Democratic Senator Mary Landrieu. Landrieu is facing a tough battle in the keeper's seat, which she'll probably lose. And Republican Representative Bill Cassidy also happened to be a sponsor for a pro-Keystone bill in the House. Keystone XL pipeline would bring carbon-intensive tar sands oil to Alberta, Canada, to the Texas Gulf Coast. It has been in the works for more than 6 years amidst massive protest over its potential to accelerate climate change. Congressional Republicans have elected new leaders following sweeping victories in the midterm elections. As expected, Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell will head the new Republican-led Senate as a majority leader. House Republican leaders include Speaker John Boehner have been reelected to their posts, and on the Democratic side, Nevada Senator Harry Reid will continue to try to lead his party, now as minority leader. And Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren has been given a newly created position in the Senate Democratic leadership, which will see her serving as a liaison to progressive groups, right where she's always at. As Congress met on Capitol Hill, workers who typically serve them food went on one-day strike to push a $15 an hour wage and right to form a union. Historic first, workers from the U.S. Capitol building joined hundreds of fellow food service and cleaning workers from the Pentagon, Smithsonian, and other sites. In February, President Obama signed an executive order raising the minimum wage for federal contractors to $10.10 an hour, but workers said that it's still not enough to survive in the nation's capital. In California, Walmart workers have staged a historic sit-down strike where organizers say it is the first of its kind in company's history. The workers sat down in Los Angeles Walmart with tape placed across their mouth to protest what they say are illegal attempts by the company to silence their demands for better jobs. Workers at more than 2,000 Walmart stores have signed a petition calling for a $15 an hour wage and full-time hours, with protests planning across the country on Black Friday. A recent analysis by the Economic Policy Institute found that 6 heirs to the Walmart fortune make as much as the bottom 79% of black families in the United States, all of them combined. Liberia has lifted a state of emergency to curb the spread of Ebola after registering a decline in the disease. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf made the announcement Thursday and said, "In our estimations and those with whom we have consulted, the progress we have witnessed, coupled with the various measures and ongoing interventions, all of which can be continuously adopted and sustained under the relevant provisions of the public health law, have combined to reposition our efforts to sustain fight against the virus until it is finally eradicated from our country." The news in Liberia comes as the Western African nation of Mali has confirmed a second outbreak of Ebola after containing an initial one. Meanwhile, clinical trials and Ebola treatments are due to begin next month in centers run by Doctors Without Borders in Guinea and Liberia. The trials will test drugs made by firms in Japan and the United States. Israel has reportedly banned a Norwegian doctor from entering Gaza for the rest of his life. Dr. Mads Gilbert provided medical aid to Gazans during the summer's Israeli assault. He works in Al-Shifa hospital. Israel has also vowed to deny entry to Gaza to representatives from the UN Human Rights Council seeking to investigate potential war crimes committed during the assault, which killed nearly 2,200 Palestinians, most of them civilians. Thursday, Secretary of State John Kerry met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Jordan King Abdullah and announced steps aimed at reducing tensions in Jerusalem. International Soccer Organization FIFA has issued a report clearing Russia and Qatar of corrupting corruption in their bids for the World Cup in 2018 and 2022. Move came despite records of illegal payments to Qatari officials who were noted in the report, and the destruction of computers and disappearance of emails related to Russia's bid. Announcement caused an internal rift between FIFA after the investigators whose evidence was used in the report denounced the conclusions, calling them incomplete and erroneous. A new report by the Department of Homeland Security details the cascading series of mistakes which allowed a man carrying a knife to scale a fence and enter the White House. A report obtained by the New York Times found that Secret Service alarm systems and radios malfunctioned. One officer stationed with an attack dog did not see the suspect. Omar Gonzalez mounted the fence because he was in his van talking on his cell phone. The scandal led to the resignation of Secret Service Director Julia Pearson last month. In Hawaii, two agribusiness giants are suing Maui County over a new law banning the cultivation of genetically modified crops. Monsanto and Dow are asking the federal court to block the law, which was passed in a ballot initiative earlier this month. It imposes a moratorium on cultivating GMO crops until they are proved to be safe. And former CEO who oversaw a mine in West Virginia was the site of the worst coal mining disaster in 4 decades has also been indicted on criminal charges. Explosion in the Upper Big Branch mine killed 29 people, and subsequent investigations found rampant safety violations more than 4 years after the explosion. Massa Energy CEO Don Blankenship has been charged with 4 criminal counts of deceiving inspectors and flouting safety standards in order to make more money. A new report reveals Justice Department is sweeping up data and vast swaths of population by flying planes equipped with devices that mimic cell phone towers. According to the Wall Street Journal, the 7-year-old program run by the U.S. Marshal Service allows the government to trick tens of thousands of cell phones into reporting their location and identifying the information over the course of a single flight. While the program is designed to target criminal suspects, it is reportedly ensnaring massive numbers of innocent Americans. The device can also interrupt calls on certain phones. I think it's called Big Brother. That's it for the World News today. Now, thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News.
Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon, I could go to space. With the air like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm clap along if you feel like
That's right, it's time for the police blotter. Pictures in the blotter are not from these actual events, but used for visual aid only. These public records are obtained from daily logs issued from Nevada County Law Enforcement. Grass Valley Police Department on Thursday, 9:29 a.m., a caller from 800 block of Sutton Way reported a man took a large amount of food items from a store. He was cited. At 12:44 p.m., a caller from business 200 block of South Auburn Street reported a man stole a bottle of whiskey and fled. And 4:55 p.m., a man from Spring Hill Drive reported he borrowed a trailer to haul belongings. The owner was reported he stole it. Situation was mediated. And 7:45 p.m., a caller from 500 block of Whiting Street reported a possible drug deal. And 10:52 p.m., a caller from 200 block of Lloyd Street reported identity theft. And Nevada County Sheriff's Office on Thursday, 8:09 a.m., a caller from Rough and Ready Highway and Ridge Road reported a pine tree leaning on power lines. And 8:25 a.m., a caller from Town Talk and Old Tunnel Roads reported illegal camping. And 9:22 a.m., a caller from 11,000 block of LeBar Meadow Roads reported possible transient activity in a field. And 3:05 p.m., a caller from Highway 49 reported vandalism to a vehicle. And 3:09 p.m., a caller from Cary Drive and Dog Bar Road reported a vehicle rollover. And 4:24 p.m., a man from 18,000 block of Connie Drive reported a dispute with a neighbor who then pulled a switchblade. And 5:14 p.m., a caller from Highway 20 and Rough and Ready Highway reported a Jeep driving recklessly, peeling out and doing donuts in the road. And 11:31 p.m., a caller from 10,000 block of Quail Creek Road reported physical fight involving two women and a man. A woman was yelling about a gun. A report was taken. And Friday, 4:48 a.m., a caller from 17,000 block of Penn Valley Road reported a large tree across the entire road. And 7:39 a.m., a caller from 10,000 block of Shekinah Hill Road reported identity theft. And Nevada City Police Department on Thursday, 2:49 p.m., caller from Commercial and North Pine Streets reported a large group on a boardwalk with large dogs using foul language. And 5:23 p.m., a caller from Commercial and Union Streets reported a runaway juvenile who was provided transportation to Chico. And that's it for the blotter today. Now, another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. In today's local news headlines, 4 arrested after report of fighting, and lights are on in Nevada City. And a late-breaking story about Center for the Arts. 4 people ended up in a jail on a variety of charges after several reports of fights at the same residence that began late Thursday night and extended into Friday morning. Nevada County Sheriff's deputies had been dispatched to a residence in the 10,000 block of Quail Creek Road about 11:30 p.m. for a report of a physical fight involving 2 women and a man, according to dispatch reports. The caller reported seeing a truck pull up and hearing a woman yell to get a gun. About 10 minutes later, caller reported that the truck was back and the woman was screaming. Deputies responded again in the area about 3 a.m. and dispatch reports noted that the people who were contacted were uncooperative. Third call was made just about 9 a.m. to report that disturbance involving a physical fight that had just occurred, said Sergeant Jeff Tyner from the Sheriff's Department. Deputies responded and found that 2 men identified as Alan Morgan Ray, 42, and Micah Yalugala, 43, had been fighting with residents Eric Roland Meyer, 45. They reportedly had been the primary aggressors and they had been placed under citizen's arrest by Meyer. Meyer sustained minor injuries and refused medical treatment. After Ray and Yulugala, I think it is, has arrested on suspicion of battery and protective sweep of the residence was conducted and deputies located 7 long guns. A check of the firearms report revealed that one had been stolen out of Nevada County. Myers was arrested on suspicion of being a felon in possession of a firearm and being in possession of stolen property, and was held in lieu of a $10,000 bail. His wife, Michelle Marie Meyer, 46, was also arrested on suspicion of possessing stolen property and was held in lieu of $10,000 bail. Yulugila and Ray were booked and released on a $750 bail. Eric Bell was arrested in October after sheriff deputies reportedly found possible stolen marijuana inside his home. Deputies responded to a report of a 911 online and saw Meyer standing near the front door. When Meyer saw the deputy, he reportedly fled into the home, locking the door behind him. The deputy broke down the door, and a short physical altercation led to Meyer being arrested. Deputy reportedly then noticed marijuana all over the home in various stages of processing, as well as a .45 caliber loaded handgun. No criminal complaint has been filed yet in that case. November 15th marks the beginning of Nevada City's holiday lighting season. For the next 2 months, businesses within the district's historical district officially authorized to turn on their string of lights, though not everybody waited for permission. On commercial streets, several eateries already had their lights on. That's been a recent point of contention between Nevada City politicals and many members of the downtown business community. Back in October, the City Council passed a resolution stating that holiday lighting could only be used during holiday season, but City Manager Mark Prestwich pointed out that Council was voting on a resolution rather than an ordinance, and that even if it passed, the resolution would not include provisions for enforcement. My take was that the council adopted the resolution at the same time encouraged the staff to work with Nevada City Chamber of Commerce to identify other options and bring them back, Prestwich later said. Matt Margelis, owner of Mateo's Public, is on the board of directors for the chamber. He said such staff direction to work with the chamber comes as a surprise. He was at the meeting in October on the chamber's behalf, officially opposing the council's resolution. Kathy Whitsley, the chamber's executive director, said the enforcement efforts stop at making a suggestion. We've just suggested to the people the city wants you to turn your lights off on January 15th, she said. We just suggested to them, but a lot of people don't comply with that. Councilman Robert Bergman recently called for a comprehensive lighting plan, as did Lori Oberholzer in a recent other voice submitted to the union. That would likely involve architectural lighting features rather than string lights, chosen specifically to complement the downtown area's existing gas lamps. Margelius has said he's open to considering such a plan. I'd have to really see what they're putting out there, Margelius said. It is lights that are up to the point where it shows we're open for business and it shows off the beauty of the town. I don't have a problem with that. Councilman Dwayne Strasser is said to be investigating the possibility of energy incentives to offset the financial impact of such a project. Strasser and Bergman both voted with Mayor Terry Anderson and Vice Mayor Jennifer Ray in favor of resolution that business owners voluntarily restrict their use of string lights to the holiday season. Evans Phelps, the newest member of the council, cast the sole dissenting vote. As a community and as a business owners, we don't feel represented right now by what's happening, said Lori Flores, owner of Pizza. We feel that we are not being heard and that there's some ulterior motive going on here. There's some personal issues going on with different public figures, and I think it's gotten silly, she said. There's some kind of personal vendetta or something underlying this issue. Flores helped organize the recent Lighten Up parade, in which business owners and residents marched through Nevada City's historic district after dark with decorative lighting of all kinds, singing songs and telling the city council to lighten up. Bergman attended the event, but Flores said she would have liked to see more members of the council there. They could have stated their opinions and seen the turnout. I was kind of amazed it happened very quickly, and basically word of mouth and Facebook invitations. Those people all showed up, and the city council didn't. Thursday was where string lights illuminated roughly 25 shops and restaurants, as well as 2 government agencies, the Nevada County District Attorney's Office and the Nevada County Courthouse. Numerous other businesses had string lights in their windows and window displays. At least 2 downtown business owners, Margelius and Margie Ditterman, have made public statements in the union indicating they do not intend to comply with the string light resolution passed by the council in October. It's not an ordinance. They adopted a resolution, Prestwich said. We don't have the ability to apply penalties. If the council had adopted an ordinance, they would present an opportunity to provide some enforcement measures. Prestwich said he anticipates this item will go back to the city council in December or January, before January 15th. Anderson has said that this is purely about holiday lighting. The policy restricting their use has been in place since 1991. In October, the council merely voted to continue using that policy. I felt from the meeting that we opened the door to more ideas and conversation about the suitable alternatives in the way of security and enhancing the building's architecture, she said. I personally don't feel that those Christmas lights did any of that. Nevada City business owners have expressed doubt as to whether or not the city can come forward with a comprehensive plan to meet their lighting needs before January 15th, when they're supposed to turn their string lights off for the year. Here is our breaking story from our roving reporter, A. Stewart. That Saturday night, Deltron 3030 had a concert at Center for the Arts in Grass Valley. There was a scuffle ending with a knife stabbing and a couple others getting cuts from the incident. At the time of the story, there has been no arrests. On-site witnesses say there was actually only one person from Center for the Arts on the floor inside at the time, and security. Door security was present at both exits but standing outside. There seems to be conflicting accounts about that. The action happened in front of a stage right speaker column. The guy was standing directly in front. Two, possibly three persons involved. He fell or was pushed, got up with a blade. He's now claiming self-defense. The individual stabbed was thought to be on something, may not even have immediately realized the injury. Just one serious injury, two others with minor but messy cuts. And the understanding is that they were not locals, possibly high-level intoxication of the person wielding the knife. The show was very mellow from all other accounts. Local EMT and law enforcement were quick to respond to the situation that was calmed down instantly. Center of the Arts has had hundreds of events, and this was an unfortunate incident at a great place.